Breaking free activity 11. I'd like to just cut right into Conquer the Monster. This is great. You should plan time for yourself being alone. You should go, whether that's for an hour, 2 hours, whatever that productive activity is, but he gets right into going to a weekend away. And while I can see the benefit of that, I think you need to be very careful. Most men that are starting on this journey with no one Mr. Nice Guy, they're not in a position, their marriage is in too much conflict to just up and go. And he's not suggesting you just up and go, but
don't take it that way.
That's
what you're saying.
Yeah, like you deserve a break. You might deserve a break. You might need this time alone, but you might have many foundational pieces that need to be set in place. In my program, in the Reset, we are a man at home, man with kids, long after we've done a bunch of other things before we get into purpose at all, which means in purpose is where I would fit this in. I mean, we've been in the program like 60 days by the time we were talking about stuff like this, where your wife is already communicating with you in conversation, not communication, where you're fundamentally understanding who you are and your core values. You need to know your core values before you start doing stuff like this, I think.
Or you'll be running amok. You won't have a roadmap for where you're going or why.
You're just going and wasting time.
You're just going, trying stuff.
And that, if you understand, we haven't even got to covert contracts yet. If you understand how, there's a sense of manipulation there. You're trying to control me. You're trying to do all these things. Most of you guys' relationships aren't in check enough to be able to do something like this. They're going to think you're just being selfish, because that's what covert contracts are.
And it would put more emotional distance between you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So keep in mind, if you picked up this book because, you're a single dude or single woman and you're trying, single women probably haven't picked it up, but, you're trying to level yourself up. I mean, that's great. Go ahead. But if you're in a relationship, especially if you have a family and responsibilities, there's a lot more foundational pieces. So I would say Conquer the Monster activity 11 wouldn't be plan a trip. It would be start looking at the foundational pieces that you don't have in place or do have and check them off before you could do something like this.
Yeah, that's good advice.